this course last week, and so we took a lot of questions that were asked there, and we just put together a document. So you might find that your questions are answered towards the end. Okay, so to begin with, something to bear in mind that although you may have been using ESM or Promiser before, if you already run tests on Promiser, you will need to register again for POP. So the way to do that is as follows. You need to complete the on-screen testing declaration form and email the completed form to account services. Now that will either be examsofficers@pearson.com or work-based learning customer service at pearson.com. It depends on what sort of section of the business you fall into. And your account specialist will create the testing account for you. Now I'll just give you a quick show of where to find this. Right, so if you go to the qualifications.pearson.com website, and then you see the little search bar in the top right hand corner. If you can type in Promiser to POP, click enter, and you can see that your first search result is moving from Promiser ESM to Pearson on-screen platform POP. Click into that. Now this page has a lot of fantastic information. It has details about why we're moving to POP, why we're making the change, support and guidance, and it has all the different sort of instructions as to where to book your on-screen tests, to book into any training. It has the offline mode, which we'll be discussing today, and also the LAN mode up there. But this is the section that we're most interested in. So on here, you can see under support and guidance, there's a little thing that says declaration form. Give the plus a tick, and you can see the form is here, the on-screen testing declaration form. So I've already got it up here, but this is what it looks like. So you just fill out your centre name, your centre number, and very important, if you are an assessor that uses multiple subsites or that you're registered against multiple subsites and will be testing on different ones, you need to make sure you include it on there. When we set up your account, there's a way of setting it up so that you just have one user account for all the different subsites. Again, you can see that on here. So that's what the on-screen declaration form looks like. Again, if you look on the second page, you can see where you might need to send it into. So your account specialist will get that account created for you. So like I say, if you already run tests on Promiser, you do still need to re-register because we need to create a completely new account for you. Okay, so what will happen once your account has been created, after you've sent in that form back to your into your account specialist, they'll create the account for you, and then they'll email you with your login and installation with your login details, so your username and password, and the installation details. In saying that, the installation guide and the user guide is actually attached to this training today, so you can find a copy of it on there. But if not, the qualifications.pearson.com website is the best place to go for it, really. So yeah, what you'll then need to do is pass on the installation guide to your IT technician. And we do recommend it goes to your IT purely because you need administrative rights before you can, well, you usually need administrative rights before you can make any changes on your works laptop. So that's why it'll go to them. And then once they've installed the software, if you reply to the initial email that they've sent to you with your account details, they'll book a demo test for you. Okay, so yeah, with the demo test, once you've responded to that email, we book it for you. If you could run the demo test and then give us an email back to let us know that you've completed it, and what we'll then do is set up your account so that you can make live test bookings. So we're going to do a quick question. Let me just launch it. Okay, it should be popping up on your screens in a minute. So the question is, where do you send your completed on-screen testing declaration form? We'll just give it about 30 seconds. And another 10. Okay, excellent. So the majority of you have now voted. The answer to that one was email it back to account services, so into your account specialist. Okay, just going to go back to the test. Okay, so now what we're going to talk about is the installation. When it comes to this, the best thing, or the best way of doing it is to show you the installation guide. Now on here, again, you find it from the same place on the website. So again, you go to qualifications.pearson.com, you go up to the search bar in the top right hand corner, type in promiser to pop, and it's the first search result. Scroll right down to the bottom, past support and guidance, and then you can see here, right at the bottom, it says offline mode. Open that up, and on there you can see EOL pop offline installation guide, and then there's also the user guide. Now I can't stress enough, these two guides are fantastic. If you have any questions or you're struggling to set up the software, or you just generally want some further guidance as to how to use the software or what to do on it, and these are fantastic. They've got screenshots showing each step. So yeah, I'd head over to here because they will answer probably 9 out of 10 of your questions. Okay, so if we go on to the installation guide, this is what it looks like. And this is what your account specialist will email to your IT or to yourselves, and then you pass it on to your IT. So you can see on here it has the minimum system requirements and the prerequisites that need to be installed before the software is installed. Head down a little bit further into the installation part, and I'll just highlight it so you can see. Okay, so this here is where you find your installation link. So for a single PC install, you can just click onto there. Okay, and what will happen is that it will bring up a folder that will start downloading. Now this is probably one of the most important parts of the installation itself. So it'll download a zip folder, and as it says here, once downloaded, right-click on the zip folder from the pop-up menu and select Extract All. This is very important. So let me just go down and I'll just show you how to do that. So this is my desktop. You can see me right-clicking on the file at the top and click on Extract All. Yeah, that's fine. What I'm going to do is just extract it. And you can see it doing it now. And there we go. So this here is the Pop Offline Dashboard installer. So I'm not going to show you how to do it now. I'm going to go back to the guide just because it takes a couple of minutes to get through. So you've seen that part. You've seen the extract all. Then it says open the folder that has just been extracted and double-click the the Pearson Offline Pop .exe file to begin installation. What will happen is it will bring up this screen, and again I'll just highlight it so you can see. From here, you'll click on Install. Step 4, you can see it says click Next to start the setup wizard, which will check the minimum technical requirements. And again, these are all the screenshots as to what will happen when you go to install it. So you can see you click Next there. And what it will start to do, it will check your computer to see whether or not you have the prerequisites installed. So where it has all these big ticks here, user has admin rights, .NET Framework 4.5 is installed, and all the rest of them, it checks to see whether or not you have them. If not, you'll be prompted to install from there. Okay. And again, you just click Next. It'll say confirm the location where the pop offline is to be saved on your computer. You can change that file path, or you can keep it the same way, whichever you prefer. And then again, if you click Install to continue, and then Finish to finish the setup, and then you'll have it installed. Now, what will happen when it's installed? There's a couple of ways of accessing it. A couple of ways to access it. Again, this is my dashboard. You can see I've got it here. So this is Pop Offline Dashboard. You can run a search to find it. Just type in Offline Dashboard, and again, you can see it popped up there. Now I'll show you what it actually looks like when you access it. So when you click on it, it'll open in a web browser and it'll bring up this screen where it says please enter your PIN code. Okay, I'm going to get to the PIN in a minute, but it's just so you can see the sort of where we are. Right, okay, so that covers the installation. So this is quite a useful thing to get your head around. So if you've got a piece of paper in front of you, or you're writing it down, this could be quite useful. So it sort of shows you the pathway, or the test booking journey, as it were. So you start in the usual way. So you book a test using Edexcel Online. Again, I'll show you a video as to how to do that later, but that's where it begins. I'm sure half of you already know how to do that, but just in case, we've got it in there. So yeah, you begin by booking a test on Edexcel Online. What you'll then do is create a PIN in the POP Assessor dashboard, which is PAD. You'll then download the test in PAD, and then you'll launch a test using the POP Offline dashboard, which is what I just showed you the installation of. Okay, so again, it's you book a test using Edexcel Online. You'll create a PIN in PAD. Now, just whilst we're here, I'll show you what PAD looks like. So this is PAD. The link to this can be found in the offline user guide, which is again is attached in the material section of this training. But this is what the website will look like. So you can see, you type in your username at the top and your password, click login, and there you are. That's the dashboard. So again, it's a website. This PAD is a website, so you can access it from any computer. And I'll just show you a couple of things to do with it. So this is one of the reasons why it's important to say whether or not you're an assessor for multiple subsites, because on here, although I've only got one registered, if you're at, say, a centre 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, and you're an assessor for each of them, each of the individual subsites would come up on here, so you can pick. So that means you just need one user account, one login, but you can access the test on those subsites. Okay, now this part here, the PIN option, the software that we just downloaded, you need a PIN to access it. So again, I'll just load that up. You can see on here, enter the PIN code. This is where you get your PIN from. So you'll have a username and password to access PAD, and then you'll have a PIN to access your test bookings on the offline dashboard. Now if I click on the generate PIN button, you can generate your first PIN on there, which you'll all need to do when you first log in. It'll then show you your PIN underneath, and then you can close it on there as well to get rid of that screen. Now something worth bearing in mind here, the only real time that you'll need to change your PIN, or there might be a need to change your PIN, is if your PIN has been compromised. So if a learner has seen you type it in, at that point you can generate a new one. But apart from that, you should use the same PIN for pretty much everything. So if you've got 50 different tests and with 50 different learners, you use the same PIN to access those tests. So it's not a different one for each learner, and it's one PIN per user. Okay, so that's how the PIN works. And again, you can see up here, there's a little section for bookings. This is where you can view your test bookings that were made on Edexcel Online. You can filter it using the product name. So say Maths Level 1, the unit name, if you've got a unit code, the exam date, and even by the candidate's name. And you can see right at the very bottom, you have the option to launch test, download test, and mark as absent. So this is basically where the test management comes onto. Right, I'll just go back to the presentation. Okay, so yeah, so that's the pathway that it takes. Right, now I'm going to show you some videos. So the first is how to prepare a test using Edexcel Online. So how to book a test on Edexcel Online. On the left-hand side menu, click the drop-down menu and select the qualification. For this, we'll go for functional skills. Okay, you're just going to go onto the tab, click on Book a Test. You can create the test booking by using the following fields. So yeah, you can select by the program, the test itself, the venue, and the test date. Okay, so we're going to click on the test. So there we go, functional skills, English level 1 to 2. And yes, so you can see at the moment that there are two options available for each unit, one for Promiser and one for POP. That will go, so on the 26th of November, that's the absolute final date that you'll be able to use ESM. At that point, there's no more tests to be taken on there. So again, that cutoff date is the 26th of November. So just going to click on a date, enter the time. So once you've made a test booking, the same thing applies with POP as it did with ESM. You must wait 2 hours before you're able to sit that test. So you can book a test at say 10 o'clock in the morning for 12, but you can't do it any sooner than that. You have to wait the full 2 hours. So again, you just select the candidate you want. You can click on the 25% extra time if you need, but if not, you can just leave that blank. Okay. Right, so now we're going to show you the POP Assessor dashboard, selecting your subsite. I did just show it you, but I'll show you it again via the video. So you log into the POP Assessor dashboard. Again, this is the home page of it. Select Switch Center from the drop-down menu at the top right of the screen. There we go. And so there you can see a list of 3. So you can tick between them. Okay, so the new site you have selected can be seen in the top right-hand corner. So there you go, that's how to change subsite. And that won't apply to everyone, but for those that do, it's fairly straightforward. It's just literally clicking on that top in the top corner and then going for it. Okay, so now showing you how to prepare a test on PAD. Right, so again, this is, how to create a POP offline pin rather. So you log in, enter username and password to log into into PAD. PAD will open on the welcome page, and that's what we saw before. And then if you go to the top, you select generate pin from the drop down menu at the top right of the screen. Again, clicking on that generate pin. This will open a new window. If you have previously generated a pin, this is where it will show it. So if you ever forget your pin, this is the best place to look for it because it'll just show it up there. Click generate pin, and there you go, you've got it there. And press close to close the generate pin window. And again, yeah, it says keep your pin safe, you'll need this to launch offline tests. So again, the only real reason why you'd need to change your pin is, like I say, if it's been compromised, so if a learner has seen it. So after the first time that you've generated your pin, that should be it really, unless, you know, there's been a breach of security. And like I said before, your pin, it's not per learner or per test, it's per user. Okay, so now we're going to show you how to download a test. So again, you're going to log in using the PAD website, enter username and password to log in. And it takes you to the home page. If you're on subsites, select the relevant subsite before you click on the bookings button. Go to bookings in the top right hand corner. And from here, you can use the filters at the top to locate your test. So yeah, you can change the date and click enter to search. Tick the box to the left of the relevant test, and from there you can click download. Okay, and this will open in a new tab, and from there confirm the download of offline exam package. It should pass all the checks, and then you can check the download, and it will show you that the download is complete by popping up a little message. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so one thing to mention, you might be able to show it you actually. So what I'm going to do, this is my dashboard. I'm going to click on download test. I should probably pick one on the right day. Click in the filter to make sure it's the right one. Click download test. See, on this one, what usually happens is that you'll get a little pop-up blocker. I'll just highlight where it will appear. You should get a pop-up blocker, or you might get a pop-up blocker up there saying that this web page has been blocked. If that happens, if you just click on it and click on the link that is contained, what it'll do is it will then open this new window, and you can click confirm download of offline exam package, and this is the little progress bar that you might have just seen. It should say passed on all of them, and that's how you know it's completely how it's completed the download. Okay, so if ever you can't access a test that you think you've tried to download and it's not worked, best thing to do would be to check there. Okay, so now we're going to cover launching a test. Let's just go back. So you launch a test using Pop Offline. So that's what I showed you the installation of before. Okay, and you can see on here it's saying you can search for it by going to a specific file. It's found in the Pearson folder, and it's called Offline Dashboard. You can also find it just by searching. So yeah, it will bring it up. This is the pin that you need to access the offline dashboard. Click on login, and it'll bring up all the test bookings that you've downloaded. So yeah, if necessary, use the calendars to refine any downloaded tests to show what's available for that specific date. So this is the piece of software where the learner will sit the test. You can click mark absent if the learner is absent. And if you try to launch the test outside of the window, you will get an error message. So that window, you have 4 hours either side of the test booking. Same as with ESM. So that essentially gives you 8 hours to sit the test. Once you've ticked the declaration, click launch. And one thing to bear in mind as well, that declaration, that acts instead of an attendance register. So by clicking that declaration, you're saying that that learner is there. And then this page will then redirect you to the test. Okay, so now we're just going to do another poll. I'll just share this with you. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to cover something else I should have mentioned. So when it comes to the test itself, you have one pin for it. Now, if your pin has been compromised and you need to generate a new one, what you'll find is that when you try to launch the test that you've already got downloaded using your new pin, it won't work. So you have to download. If you generate a new pin, you then have to re-download the tests. Okay, you'll see why I covered that in a second. Let me just send out this poll. Okay, excellent. We'll just leave it up for another maybe 20 seconds. Okay, another 10. Okay, brilliant. So that's almost everyone that's voted. So yeah, the answer to that one was you need to re-download the test. So like I say, once you've generated a new pin, you will then have to re-download the test, because otherwise it'll pick up that it's not. It'll pick up that it's an incorrect pin because it's still valid with the old one. So like I say, you have to re-download. Okay, and when it comes to uploading a test, so there's two options. So there's automatic or manual upload. And with automatic, what will happen is when you log back into the POP dashboard after completing the test and you have internet connection, a message will pop up and it will say, do you want to upload? You click on yes. The manual upload is that when you log into the POP dashboard, you have to go into the pending uploads and manually click press upload. It is set to, as the default setting, it's set to automatic. So as soon as you finish your test and you get back onto back to your center or back to somewhere with internet connection, as soon as you launch the offline platform, it'll pop up with that message saying, do you want to upload the tests? Quite a handy feature. But I'll show you the video of it as well. Okay, so again, this is the offline dashboard. You enter your PIN and press login. And as you can see, there are pending results to upload. Please click yes to upload, otherwise click no. So you click yes if you're connected to the internet. And there you are, it says queuing upload, and the upload should take place. Yeah, there you go. It says succeeded and then done. So it's been successfully uploaded. So the test details will now show as uploaded in the archive section. So if ever you're curious as to whether a test has been uploaded, let me just go back to that. You go into archived and it'll show as uploaded in the archive section. Okay, so I might just show you that as well on the offline dashboard just so you can have another look at it. Okay, so this is my offline dashboard. I'm entering my PIN. I click login. And as you can see, I've got 2 tests available. So from here, you can mark as absent. And I don't think there'll be anything in my archive section because I haven't actually uploaded any test results. But had I done, you can see on the left, you've got available at the top. They're the tests that you've got available to sit. And underneath, you've got archived. And that'll show you whether or not a test has been successfully uploaded. You can also select pending upload, and it will show you the tests that have been completed that your learners have successfully sat that need to be uploaded. So this is where they'll move into. And again, you can see on the settings, it says, is auto uploaded? That's already ticked. So there's all your, and they're the pre-programmed settings. So it will automatically upload, or unless you change it to manual. Okay, just going to go back to the presentation. Right, okay, and there is one final poll. So I'll just launch that for you now. We'll have about 30 seconds with this one. So it says, where would you go on the offline dashboard to manually upload a test? Just give it another 15 seconds or so. Okay, Brill, so that's the majority of you that have voted. Perfect. Yeah, the answer to that was pending uploads. So you go into the pending upload section to see whether or not it's been, well, to see that it needs to be uploaded. Okay, and now we're getting to the sort of end of it now. So support, like I say, there's guides available on our website, which is thequalifications.pearson.com. If you ever if you're ever looking for a bit more information, my best advice would be to use the search bar and just type in Promise to Pop, because that web page has a lot of really decent guides available on there. Yeah, so it says on here installation and user guides. So we've also got other support. So for schools and FE, the email address is examsofficers@pearson.com, and you can see the phone number under there. And for any work-based learning customers, it's wblcustomerservices@pearson.com. And again, you've got your number there. Okay, now just as a final thing, like I say, we did this training event last week, and a couple of questions popped up quite a lot. So we'll just go through some of them here. So the first one that got asked, are venue IDs required for the POP offline dashboard? The answer to that is no. And sort of going on to that, what will happen is that if you have, in fact, I'll read through the questions and it might be covered in there. So yeah, no venue IDs are required for the POP offline dashboard. So, right, next question. So do I need to run a demo test for both POP LAN and offline? And that's if you run a different version of the POP software. The answer to that is yes. So the demo test checks that your software is set up correctly. For each new installation, you should book and run a demo test. Again, this is just to check that everything's working. So if you change, even if in your center you change network provider at all, or there's a change to anything in your IT, you should probably run a demo test just to make sure that it's not affected the software. Do I need a new PIN for each test? No. So you need one PIN per user account, and once the PIN has been generated, you'll use this for every test that you download from your account. Another one that we had was, is Functional Skills ICT included in the switchover? Again, the answer to that is no. Functional Skills ICT is run in the same way as it was before, so you don't actually use the POP software to run this test, and it wasn't run on ESM in the past, so that just stays the same. Another question, is it just one user account per center? And the answer to that is no. So you should have one account per assessor. And like I said before, if you're an assessor that works on different subsites, again, it's just one account for you. Just make sure you mention the subsites that you work at when you sign in, when you fill in that on-screen testing declaration form. Who creates the user accounts? And that would be your account specialist. And if I download a test and there is an issue with the software, can I move the learner onto a new machine? The answer to this is yes. So all that you need to make sure the new machine has is the POP offline dashboard installed. So how it would work, it's different to Promiser, where it was a bit tricksy. With this, as long as you've got POP offline, you can have the POP offline dashboard installed on, say, 10 different laptops. And if something goes wrong on one, you can move them on to another. All you need to do is just make sure the test is re-downloaded on that PC. So it's not like with ESM where you had one venue ID per laptop. You can have as many instances of the POP offline dashboard. You just need to make sure you can access PAD, which is the website, on the new machine to download that test. Okay, so we've come to the end. If you have any questions, like I said at the beginning, if you put them in the chat, and what we'll do is we'll read through them all and we'll answer them all and then send out a document before 5 o'clock tomorrow with the answers on there. Yeah, anything that you can think of or that you're a bit unsure of, yeah, just put it in the chat and we'll sort it out. But for everyone else that's not sticking around for a bit to ask questions, thanks for coming, and I hope today has been helpful for you. Thank you.